Hello and welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. Coming up in today's show, a look at the National Honors and Awards ceremony, exploring a certain heritage site in St. Catherine, hurricane alerts from the Met Office. All this and more after the news.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your GIS News for Thursday, October 19. The Cannabis Licensing Authority, CLA, has issued its first 2 licenses for legal operation in the cannabis industry. These licenses were issued on Wednesday in a ceremony at the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. They include a Tier 1 cultivator license granted to Epicon and a Tier 1 processor license issued to Everything Oily. The 2 entities signed a tripartite agreement signifying their arrangement to conduct business together in keeping with the requirement to have the industry operate as a closed-loop system.
During the process, we have endeavoured to remain in dialogue with our applicants every step of the way, and we are confident that they have satisfied the rigours of the regulations.
The CLA has granted another 3 licenses, which will be issued once the applicants complete the requirements to facilitate this. Another 57 applications are at the conditional approval stage, while an overall 209 are being processed. Industry Minister Carl Samuda addressed the issue of accelerating the process for granting licenses.
For those who are impatient, let me again remind them that we are a country of laws and we must stick to the laws of our land, and we will never compromise that which is necessary.
The Senate is expected to shortly vote on the legislation clearing the criminal records of 4 national heroes after it was passed in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The legislation is the National Heroes and Other Freedom Fighters Absolution from Criminal Liability in Respect of Specified Events Act 2017. It will absolve national heroes George William Gordon, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp and Marcus Garvey of criminal liability arising from their participation in acts of liberation with moral justification. The same applies to their supporters, sympathizers and participants by association and other freedom fighters. The legislation was supported by both sides of the House and was passed without dissent.
Mr. Speaker, it is done. We, the children of our ancestors, have by this act expressed complicity with them in their heroic stance against oppression and enslavement. We stand by our heroes and unsung heroes as we absolve them of all criminal liability, pledging never to forget their historic and selfless thrust for justice, their unwavering belief in their personal dignity and integrity, and their self-effacing sacrifice for their grandchildren and their children.
In related news, the Jamaican leg of the CARICOM Reparations Youth Baton Relays and Rallies was launched in St. Thomas on Wednesday. The relays will be staged island-wide over the period October 19 to December 27. During the 3-month activity, the atrocities of slavery and the economic and social impact on Caribbean countries will be highlighted. Speaking ahead of the launch, Culture Minister Olivia Grange stressed that the event encourages participation from young people and the general public for the success of the region-wide movement.
Our young people will be running for reparations, expressing thereby solidarity with our ancestors and expressing their commitment to the removal of the stigmas of negativity and criminality attached to the names and characters of our forebears.
Each leg of the CARICOM Reparations Youth Baton Relays and Rallies will be run by a group of young people, with one of them carrying the baton and transferring it at the end of their leg to another group. Relays have been held in Barbados, Guyana, Suriname, St. Lucia, and Antigua and Barbuda. The exchange of the baton from Antigua to Jamaica took place on Tuesday, October 10. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett has announced that the popular heritage site Devon House will come off the government's budget by 2020. He says this is testament to the strong and focused initiatives at building up the property's offerings and effectively its profitability. He pointed to his ministry's targeted interventions to establish Devon House as Kingston's premier gastronomy centre. As part of that, support was granted to expand the ice cream parlour on the property's north lawns. Other new culinary offerings include a popular Greek and fusion restaurant called Opa. And while addressing this weekend's official opening of the Steakhouse on the Veranda restaurant at Devon House, Minister Bartlett said a special kitchen will be built and marketed to visitors across the world to come to Devon House to cook. The Tourism Ministry also has plans to establish food stations, a concept which will allow tourists and visitors a unique opportunity to sample a variety of authentic Jamaican cuisine in a convenient way. And finally, residents of Denham Town are welcoming the presence of the security forces in their community, which was declared the second zone of special operations by Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Tuesday. During a visit by JIS News on Wednesday, a number of residents expressed that they hoped the operations would restore peace and unity in the community.
Police and soldiers are ever in the area, so that not going to change nothing. You see, unless them change how the people them live. You see, better house and better thing, Virgin, and as what them said, job and certain things, you see, don't.
The few officers that I have associated myself with, they are very nice, they talk to us nice. The only thing I want is to like them would have helped us to fix the street lights, that there is no lights, and they would just help us to fix the street lights and just help us to do certain things, like the running water that is keep on running and won't stop. That will be help with us.
I don't find no fault with it because I'm not a lawless individual, and my friends who I know, which is this one here, and others around, we are not lawless. So therefore, we appreciate them just to keep the thing. Because, Mark, you know, whether my grandson, my son, and we want to call it etc., me busting gun. If you want to compromise, that's you. But me not appreciate you in my house because I'm a law-abiding citizen.
I can't take too much of the gunshot. Innocent people are dead. Sometimes when the man are up here, so them not go on, and everything for us unite and come together and live and work. You understand? In the community, just peace, want and love. Peace and love one another. And so, una bright, them send them back to school, go learn something. Who send them a DJ, them go learn DJ. Who say them want to learn for this, them learn for this.
During the JIS's visit, small groups of people could be seen on the streets and several community shops were open, although most residents opted to stay indoors. Residents leaving and entering the community were searched at the approximately 30 checkpoints that have been established. In announcing Denham Town as a second zone of special operations, the Prime Minister said the community met the first-order criteria of ongoing gang warfare, rampant criminality, escalating violence and murder, and a threat to rule of law. The security operation is expected to last for 60 days in the first instance. Lieutenant Colonel Murphy Price of the Jamaica Defence Force and Senior Superintendent of Police Everald Linton are jointly in charge of operations. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
original.
On Monday, we honored some very distinguished Jamaicans for the invaluable contribution in various disciplines to our country. The awardees were very appreciative of the recognition and didn't hesitate to express their views.
National Honors and Awards 2017 saw 257 upstanding individuals being pinned and sashed in recognition of their contribution to the development of Jamaica. The spirit of the honorees resonated humility and national pride.
Being awarded today is an incredible honor, and I accept it with much humility. If we recognize engineers, we're recognizing the worth and the value to the community. So I'm indeed very honored.
Well, I'm very elated. The fact that you can be awarded or rewarded for your service to the country.
I worked at Princess Margaret Hospital for 40 years, and my blessing today, I feel so comfortable. I felt really, really appreciated.
It's a great privilege and an honor to get this award, and you do things throughout your life. And you never know when these things are going to happen and when you're going to be acknowledged. So I'm extremely proud.
One doesn't set out to get awards or recognition, but it comes along the way. It's an added bonus. Encouragement to just push on, work harder, and try and ensure that I influence others to volunteer as well, to make a difference, to improve lives, transform lives, and to help to build our country and make it a better place.
It will give me more encouragement that I'm recognized by my country nationally, and spur me on to continue working in the same way that I have been, and to try and inspire other youngsters to follow in my footsteps.
I'm very happy that I've been able to help to transform lives and make a difference.
It's always a pleasure serving your country.
Jamaica comes alive for Jamaica 55. The Jamaica Information Service is inviting primary, secondary, and tertiary students to catch the vibes and join in the celebration by participating in this year's staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Primary and prep school children, ages 9 to 12, enter the essay competition and tell us how you would want to see Jamaica in 55 years. High schoolers enter the poster competition. Show us your artistic interpretations of Jamaica throughout her 55 years in a poster titled Jamaica 55. Posters may be designed digitally or illustrated. Zoom, click, snap. Yes, tertiary students, the photo competition is back. Capture an image that best represents Jamaica 55. For more information on the competition rules and how to submit entries, visit the JIS website at www.jis.gov.jm. You may also send an email to heritageessay@jis.gov.jm, heritageposter@jis.gov.jm, or heritagephoto@jis.gov.jm, or call us at 926-3590-4. The deadline for all entries is October 31, 2017. So ready, set, go for prizes galore. JIS Heritage Competition 2017, celebrating Jamaica 55.
More life.
More memories.
More moments.
Jamaica Moves is a call to action to prevent non-communicable diseases. Get active. Eat healthy. You can protect yourself from high blood pressure, obesity, asthma, certain cancer diseases, and more.
Reflections on heritage continue throughout the month of October in Jamaica Magazine. We turn our attention now to a very historic site that bears the shackles of our ancestors. Philippa Baptist Church in the Old Capital, Spanish Town.
It was our own national hero, the Right Excellent Sam Sharp, an enslaved man and freedom fighter who said, "I would rather die upon yonder gallows than live in slavery." That sentiment was also shared by many other slaves. But the fight for freedom and the hope for victory brought liberation to many. Right here in Jamaica, the movement to end slavery was very active, and landmarks across the island document this part of our history.
We are on the Emancipation Trail, and we're looking at the symbolic parts of Jamaica which relate to emancipation, a very important change of status in our country. We're here in the Philippa Baptist Church compound in Spanish Town. Spanish Town is a very old city, founded in 1539, I believe, and this particular site was where the Baptists created a congregation in 1818. And this church, built by the Baptists at the time of Reverend Philippa, was part of the congregation that was very supportive of the move to emancipate all enslavement. And that is a magnificent building going back probably close to 200 years. This church is very historic. Right here, under this tamarind tree, and identified by this plaque, is the slave chains which were buried on August the 1st, 1838. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Deacon Ivan O'Connor, a member of this congregation, who is going to tell us some more about this very historic site and its relationship to emancipation.
I understand that part of the Declaration of Emancipation was read from the steps of this church. And a deep hole was dug right here, and all the chains that were available were put in there and covered. And a tamarind tree was put there as a monument. I understand that the first tamarind tree was destroyed by the 51 hurricane, but it was replaced. And it stands here now as a monument where people can come and get tamarind and remember the slavery chains.
And touch the monument,
right,
as part of our experience,
right, it is here
of
as a
what
reminder.
Emancipation was all about.
Right.
But I also think we have to remind ourselves that the original official declaration was read from the steps of King's House,
That's
the facade which is still in front of the square.
That square is Emancipation Square, which is also in Spanish Town and just a few meters away from the Philippa Baptist Church. Here was once the town center. Other important buildings in the square include the old House of Assembly, Rodney's Memorial, and the old courthouse. The area was severely damaged by fire as well as the 1692 earthquake, but parts of the buildings have since been restored and put to use. Back over at the Philippa Baptist Church,
we want to reaffirm how important the Baptist movement and denomination was to emancipation. They were major players in persuading the English government to declare free at last, emancipation on the 1st of August, 1838.
And it is believed that the chains of slaves were buried at the Philippa Baptist Church due to its close proximity to Emancipation Square and the unrelenting movement by the Baptist Church to put an end to slavery.
Somebody said some time ago, how can we write the history of Jamaica without including the Baptists? The Baptists were one of the churches that were very integral to the teaching of the slaves and emancipation. James Philippa was one of the persons who was integral in getting emancipation for the slaves in Jamaica.
While emancipation was declared for slaves, their conditions were not improved. So the movement for a more just society was challenged by Paul Bogle and George William Gordon. They were also part of the Baptist movement and later became two of our national heroes. As a result of this involvement, Baptist work in Jamaica became an enduring symbol of the church's opposition to slavery and all other forms of injustice.
This building was put up sometime about 1827 thereabout, and has been maintained over time. It's a natural heritage site, and so the National Heritage Trust has control over what happens here. Right after emancipation, James Philippa established free villages, like in Sligoville, in parts of Clarendon, and also established churches. So this church is steeped in our history in Jamaica.
We are still in the hurricane season, and that means a system can develop at any time. When that happens, watches and warnings are usually issued by the Met Office to guide our level of preparation. Evan Thompson from the Met Office tells us just how important this information is.
Every month of the year, there has been in our history some incidents of flooding that has taken place in some aspect of the country. And that is something that we have to take note of. Apart from monitoring and giving the forecast, we are also responsible for warnings. And so there are some warnings that we want you to take special heed to if you consider yourself to be vulnerable in any situation. When we speak about a flash flood watch, it means that there is a feature, some kind of weather system that is going to produce enough rainfall that makes it possible for you to get flooding. So it means start to watch, because the water levels are going to be increasing and there is the possibility of the flooding. Now, if we start to see that in some area flooding has started to occur, or if we believe that the flooding has been so close to an area that it is going to happen in that area in a short space of time, we will escalate that flash flood watch and refer to it as a flash flood warning. So when we talk about a flash flood warning, it means not only that the flooding is possible, but the flooding either has already started to happen or is going to happen in a very short space of time because it is very close to that area. So it is important to know what the watch means as opposed to what the warning means. Usually with the warning, we will not only issue a warning, but we will also tell you what kind of actions are important or what you should not do. Like, do not go through flooded waterways because it could pose a risk to your life and to your property. Also, if you live in low-lying or flood-prone areas, if it is an area that is regularly experiencing flooding, a flash flood warning for your area would mean that now is the time to move to higher ground because the flooding has already started or is going to happen very shortly. It is also important for us to know where we live, because sometimes in our messages we might not refer to the actual town, but we will tell you what part of the country the flood watch or the flood warning is relevant to. So if we talk about central parishes, we are referring to Clarendon. We're also talking about Manchester. We're also talking about St. Anne. These are central parishes. So you have to be knowledgeable of where you live so that you know whether the message actually applies to you. The messages that we issue for hurricanes and tropical storms are watches and warnings as well, like the flooding. But in this case, for a tropical storm or a hurricane, when we issue a watch, It means the conditions that are associated with the storm or the hurricane are possible within a certain time frame. If you hear tropical storm or hurricane watch, you could get the impact of that system within a day and a half, 36 hours. If we mention that this is a tropical storm or a hurricane warning, it means that you only have 1 day before that thing can affect you. So we are moving to how quickly you need to make sure that you are prepared by naming it a watch or a warning. So the watch is the first level of the alert that there is something that is likely to affect you. But when we move to a warning, it means now is the time to batten down because you most likely are going to experience that storm or hurricane. We might have a tropical wave, which is the least of them, in that it can still cause a lot of rain and it can still cause flooding and devastation, but it will not have very strong winds associated with it. But then there is the tropical depression that is a little stronger, because now you have winds that are moving with it, gusty winds, and it also has a lot of rainfall. Then you have tropical storms, which is a more severe kind of tropical depression because the winds are even stronger. And then if it gets even stronger, it could become a hurricane. So it's important that you have your radio and that your radio is battery controlled, not dependent on electricity, so that you can hear the warning messages that come from the meteorological service. Also bear in mind that if you dial 116, you will be able to hear the latest message coming out of the meteorological service related to any warnings. We cannot stop paying attention. We cannot let down our guard. You have to prepare yourself and stay prepared until we are out of the threat.
Yo, this is We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to OPM.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
And that's all the time we have for today, but another program comes your way tomorrow. Until then, just click on our website, jis.gov.jm, to stay connected. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.